Since the year 2020 ended and we've started getting back to life as we knew it, I have had a lot of conversations with people about working from home versus working remotely. There are some workers who feel entitled to work from home because they've been doing it for the last 12 months without much of an issue. However, that might not be best for everyone. Maybe you think that working from home is best for you. Maybe you work really well in your home office. Maybe you like the environment that's around you, that you've created. Maybe you just don't like spending the money on gas. Maybe you feel more closely connected to your coworkers than ever before because you're engaging in a chat like you didn't because you don't have the ability to talk to each other. Maybe you're having video meetings with your team every single day, multiple times a day, to discuss what's going on in your team. Maybe working from home is something that your company has embraced, the culture's embraced, and you have lit up and everyone's been successful. But that might not fit everyone. In 2020, I was managing a staff of around 30 Tier 1 help desk workers. I had many different ages and many different generations. I had Generation X employees, I had Millennials or Generation Y, and I had Zoomers or Generation Z employees. Eventually, it came to the point where the ability to work from home was offered to everyone. I gave everyone the option to work from home, and I sent them home. I said, please work from home. This is something that you can do. You don't have to come into the office. Most people, when I tell them this story, expect me to say that things got worse from there, and especially that my younger millennials and Zoomers were the ones who wanted to stay home and they didn't want to come back. In fact, about a third of my employees came back to the office. I sent all 30 home, and after a week or two, 10 of them wanted to come back to the office because they missed the office environment. They missed sitting around their fellow employees and being able to talk with them. They missed seeing people. They missed having that interaction. None of those employees were my older employees. They were all my younger millennial and Zoomer employees. So don't assume that just because people want to work from home, it's not a youth thing. It might be a personality type thing. Also, don't assume that people want to work from home because they don't enjoy the culture of your company. If your company had a healthy culture before sending people work from home, you shouldn't have had any issues with people working from home. You should still be able to have that same culture. However, if your company struggled with culture, maybe your management didn't talk to your frontline employees all the time, and you sent those people home, those feelings of disconnect are just going to exacerbate and grow. The canyon between your frontline workers and your upper management will get deeper. If your upper management didn't have a presence before, and then you sent people work from home and they had an even less of a presence, of course they're not going to feel engaged with your company culture. I don't think what we're looking at in 2021 or beyond is going to be a work from home versus work in the office. I think we are looking at workers who want a good workplace environment, a good workplace culture, that might not have ever been given one. Many older managers think of working from home as a perk of the job. However, many young professionals don't see this as a perk. They might see it as an entitlement or something that just comes with the job. Now, why would they think that? Possibly, it's because when a lot of millennials entered the workforce, we didn't have any perks. I don't recall ever receiving a raise based on my qualifications or the work I was doing. I was given a raise annually most of the time, and it was a 3% or 5% cost of living increase with, well, you didn't do bad, so you might get above the normal cost of living increase. I was never pulled off to the side, you did great, we're going to give you a bonus based on just your performance alone that not everyone else is getting. I think a lot of what happened was businesses strove to normalize everything and say we have to treat everyone the same. Those perks for your outstanding employees went away. When your company doesn't have perks or bonuses, nothing is a perk or bonus. If you are a high-performing employee and you know that at the end of 1 year you're going to get a 3% raise, and the lowest performing employee in your department also knows at the end of the year they're going to get a 3% raise, your company culture might be suffering because you're not rewarding your high performer. And you're not trying to train your low performers up. They're all getting the exact same thing. So of course some people are going to be fighting from work from home. Of course they're going to think it's a perk. They don't know what perks are. We took perks away from the millennials and the Zoomers. Why would we expect someone who have never been given a bonus for their work or given a perk of the job? Why would we expect them to know what those perks are? Why would we expect them to treat that like a perk? Hopefully, your company was allowing people to work from home before 2020 and you had to work from home. Hopefully, your company had the infrastructure in place. There's a lot of places that did not have that infrastructure in place. Some of the arguments I've seen for wanting to continue to work from home have been, we kept the company afloat for the last 12 months from our dining room tables. The least they could do is allow us to continue to keep them afloat. Let's think about this critically. That company might have been struggling and they needed you to keep them afloat. They needed their workers to keep them afloat. That's true. But that company also kept you afloat. You were not laid off. You still had a job. They allowed you to work from home. Maybe you couldn't be in the office whatsoever. They had to lock down the office and send you home. They allowed you to keep working. You might have contributed to that company's success throughout 2020, but they also contributed to your success. If you weren't one of those who were struggling to find work and were looking for anything with benefits to support our family, that's not really a respectful approach. Lots of people did lose their jobs. Lots of people would have been happy to commute an hour or more to have a job just to support their families throughout the year. Make sure you keep that in mind before you say, I kept my company afloat. I deserve this. Another qualification I've heard for why someone should work from home is they say, I'm better at my job now than I was 12 months ago. Really? You've been doing the exact same job for the last 12 months, and you're better now than you were last year. I would certainly hope so. If you have been doing the exact same work, you should have improved in your performance. Maybe you took on more, maybe your group has been better at communicating with each other, maybe they've shown that they can be just as effective working from home. I know a lot of companies that are looking at their IT departments and saying, these IT guys knew how to communicate with each other before we sent them work from home. They were all chatting, they were using Microsoft Teams, or they were using Slack or Discord or whatever, long before we told them they had to adapt to this chat environment. And you had some really tight-knit groups, and when they were sent work from home, they continued to meet, they continue to have video chats, and they continue to interact, and they're still a very tight-knit group of people. I think you're going to see a big shift in culture for work from home versus working in the office, but one of the things that companies, when they start fighting this battle, is to know that they're not fighting the battle of work from home versus work in office. You're fighting the battle of company culture and corporate culture. If your people don't feel accepted or appreciated, they probably didn't feel accepted or appreciated before you sent them home. Maybe allowing them to continue to work from home, if they're able to continue to show performance, will be something you can do to give them a little bit of a perk.